Hi, I'm Anna Carrier, and I am here representing the WVU LaunchLab. We are doing a video series, and today we're going to do a video series on West Virginia grant searching and administration. So I'd like to introduce Judy Moore from the Hive. She's going to talk to us a little bit about where to find grants, important language to use, and some of the knowledge she has from her experiences.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Judy. So if you want to share a little bit about yourself and the Hive, that would be great.
Sure. Thanks for having me on first. I really appreciate that. So I'm the director at the West Virginia Hive Network, and the West Virginia Hive is the entrepreneurship program of the New River Gorge Regional Development Authority. We are based in Beckley in southern West Virginia and cover 12 of the southernmost counties of the state. We are a basic entrepreneurship support program offering business advising, technical assistance, and we operate with 3 business advisors and a lot of other great support staff.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. First of all, can you just talk a little bit about where you find grants? And, if you want to share any experiences you've had with grants for the Hive or any of the businesses that you've worked with, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, so actually being successful in finding grants is a skill. And you have to kind of grow into it because there's just a lot of learning that goes into it. The more savvy that you can become with understanding grants, the better that you're going to be, the more successful that you're actually going to be. And grants typically, some of the key factors is that the window of opportunity to apply is short. And so what you find available for, to apply to today may be gone in a week or 2 weeks, and it may never come back, or it may be a standard type of grant that actually pops up on a yearly basis or a semi-annual basis. So the main thing to do is to search often for grants. It needs to be a regular part of what you do, not just once in a while, because you could miss some great opportunities. Also, in searching for grants, they really are, there's a lot of different places to find them. And the federal government has them all pulled together on grants.gov. So that's really an easy way to find federal funding opportunities. The state, West Virginia State, also has a place on the state website, so it's easy to find. But other grants are kind of just all over the place, and you really will be surprised where you can find them. But the main thing that you need to remember is that grants have to, they are going to align with the mission that your organization or your business is trying to fulfill. And so that's really important to keep that in mind. When you start thinking about that, you will start thinking about like-minded programs, foundations, businesses that might give out grants, and those are the places to look. There are a lot of foundations in West Virginia that support different types of funding opportunities. So a lot of opportunities for veteran-owned programs or women-owned programs, but they are usually specific. There are grants available if you are conducting research, but there's tons of opportunities out there. The other things that I would just mention is that it's not always categorized as a grant. There's this language now being used as early stage funding or technical assistance funds, and those really are very similar to grants. They work primarily in the same fashion. You have to apply and meet specific guidelines. And so there are a lot of funds available. They're just not all categorized as grants.
Those are some excellent tips. I know myself, having just recently applied for a grant, you're very right. It is a very skilled thing to learn, and it takes some practice, and you don't always do it right the first time. Sometimes you have to resubmit. So yeah, it's definitely practice makes perfect kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Going along with that, what language is important to use in your grant application? You touched a little bit on, fulfilling your mission. Is there anything else that you would recommend?
It's really, really important that you read the entire grant solicitation. The solicitations are usually, they can be everything from 2 pages to 30 pages plus, right? And so within those documents, they don't just put them together to be handing out these big, fat documents. There's a lot of really, really important information in there. And if you follow those, you're going to have a much more successful application. But there, you really have to pay attention to the details. Just some key tips that I will throw out is that the funders are looking for your mission, as I said earlier, to align with theirs. And so they have specific terminology that they use. Each grant is for a specific need. And so the more that you reference that, the more in tune that the reviewer for your application is going to see that you are truly understanding what that mission is, and that you are really going to try to help fulfill that mission. And that's the whole purpose of getting a grant, is for them to help you benefit, but you also are helping them to fulfill their mission. So it's really important to go through that entire solicitation, really understand it, and include some of the verbiage within what you are your application.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you. So my last question then is, how do you make sure you spend grant money correctly? I know that's outcomes are a big part of grants, and making sure that you execute the grant correctly is also as important as your application. So how do you make sure you spend that correctly?
So before I answer that question, I want to back up and tell you how important it is, first of all, that what you tell the funder that you can do, that you truly can deliver on it, because that's what parlays into actually fulfilling those grant applications, okay? So you can get very creative in a grant application and just put in tons of things. And if you tell the funder that you're going to move the mountain, they expect you to move the mountain because you have committed to that. So the first thing, the real important point is not to over exaggerate what you are actually capable of fulfilling, because you're going to be held responsible for actually delivering on that. So that's really, really important. But when it comes to fulfilling the obligations of the grant, you're actually going to, you're going to receive a contract. In the preparation of the grant, you have to put together a budget that shows exactly how you're going to spend those funds. And you are obligated to work within those guidelines. There's a slight leeway. Most funders will allow you to, adjust up and down on a slight variance, but not much. I mean, if you request $100,000 for personnel and $50,000 for other things, that's exactly what they expect you to spend that money on. You can't spend $75,000 in personnel and $75,000 on other, because that totally goes against what you have obligated to do. So it's really important. The funding application is extremely important that you really put a lot of thought process into that. You're not just trying to sell the funder on some grandiose plan. You need to sell them on a plan that you can fulfill. And then when it comes time to fulfill it, you just have to make sure that you work within those boundaries that you have set forth, and you fulfill the metrics, the performance measurements that you've told the funder that you are going to meet.
That's great advice. Yes, you just can't throw numbers out there. You have to think about it.
Absolutely.
Well, to wrap up, Judy, could you let us know how entrepreneurs can find you in the state of West Virginia, and just real quickly again cover the services that you offer so that they know they can come to you.
Sure. So at the West Virginia Hive, you can find us at wvhive.com. And I do want to mention quickly that we also have a sister program, the Country Roads Angel Network, and you can find us there at wvcran, CRAN.com. And CRAN is actually providing early stage funding for entrepreneurs as well, and we're working hand in hand. It is actually available across the state as well. So I do hope that if you're in Southern West Virginia and we can help you through the Hive, that you will look us up and see what we can do together. And also statewide, if you're interested in early stage funding, look us up on wvcran.com.
Thank you so much, Judy. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks, Anna. Appreciate it much.